Hello everyone, my name is Kiran Ahire. I am MSc BA and I am going to teach you biology for 11th standard. Today we will discuss biology for 11th standard, that is 6th lesson, biomolecules. Okay, we will study 6th lesson, biomolecules. Now actually today we will just have an introduction what exactly are biomolecules, and then in the next video we will understand each biomolecule, we will discuss each biomolecule in detail. So let us understand first what are biomolecules. So you know that all the living organisms, they are made up of cells, and cell is the structural and functional unit of life. So cell has protoplasm. We have studied the structure of cell. Cell has a protoplasm inside. Inside the protoplasm there are many chemical molecules. Inside the cell protoplasm there are many chemical molecules. These chemical molecules are called as biomolecules. Okay, so cell has protoplasm, and this protoplasm contains many chemical molecules. These all chemical molecules are called as biomolecules. Now these molecules, they can be organic, they can be simpler or compound. The chemical molecules can be simple molecules or they can be compound molecules. So all the molecules in the cell, whether simple or compound, which performs all the functions of a cell, are called biomolecules. I will repeat, cell, all the chemical molecules that are present inside the cell, whether simple or compound, which perform various functions in the cell, are called biomolecules, or we also call it as cellular pool. We also call it as cellular pool. Now these molecules, they can be either organic or inorganic. These cell molecules which are present in the protoplasm, they can be organic or inorganic. So suppose organic molecules like carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, amino acids, these are the organic compounds. Carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acid, amino acids, they are the organic compounds, and inorganic compounds are mineral, iron, salt, water. Mineral, iron, salt, water, they are the inorganic compounds. Now suppose if you want to understand, or if you want to know, we have to find out which molecules are present inside the cell, then how we can do that? So there is a small experiment for that. What we have to do is collect the living tissues from the cell or from an organism, collect the living tissues and grind them in trichloroacetic acid. We grind the living tissues in trichloroacetic acid. When we grind this living tissues in trichloroacetic acid, we get a slurry. We get slurry. Slurry means it's a thin, insoluble mixture. Slurry means what? It's a thin, insoluble mixture. So we get this slurry, and this slurry we have to filter. We have to filter the slurry. So how we will filter? We take a funnel and we take a test tube. In the funnel we put cotton over here, and this slurry we put it through the pour into the funnel. So what will happen? Some molecules, they will get filtered and they will come into the test tube. Some molecules, they will get filtered and they will come into the test tube. These molecules which get filtered and come into the test tube, they are called acid soluble pool. Or all the molecules which got filtered and came into test tube, we call it as acid soluble pool. And there will be some molecules which will not get filtered and they will remain in the funnel. There will be some molecules which will not get filtered and they will remain in the funnel. These are called acid insoluble pool. The molecules which do not get filtered and remain in the funnel, they are acid insoluble pool. So what exactly is this acid soluble pool and acid insoluble pool? So the molecules which got filtered and came into acid soluble pool, the molecular weight of these molecules is between 18 to 800 to 1000 daltons. The acid soluble pool molecules which are present in acid soluble pool, they have the molecular weight of 18 to 800 to 1000 daltons. That means their molecular weight is small, and that is why these molecules which came in acid soluble pool, we call them as microbiomolecules. The molecules in acid soluble pool, we call them as microbiomolecules, or we simply call it as micromolecules. Why we call micro? Because micro means small. So they have a small molecular weight, 18 to 800 or 1000 daltons. They are microbiomolecules. Now which are the microbiomolecules? Then amino acids, monosaccharides, nucleotides, these are the microbiomolecules. Okay, amino acids, monosaccharides, nucleotides, they are the microbiomolecules. The molecules which remain in acid insoluble pool, their molecular weight is 1000 and above Dalton. 1000 and above Daltons. So the molecular weight is large, right? The molecular weight is large, and that is why we call these molecules as macrobiomolecules. We call it as macrobiomolecules. Macro means large. They have large molecular weight, that is 1000 and above Daltons, and that is why the molecules in acid insoluble pool we call it as macrobiomolecules. Which are these macrobiomolecules? Then proteins, nucleic acid, that is DNA, RNA, and polysaccharides. These are the macrobiomolecules. Proteins, nucleic acids like DNA, RNA, and polysaccharides, they are the macrobiomolecules. Now there is a confusion about lipids. Students, they always have a confusion. Lipids, whether they are micromolecules or macromolecules. So we'll just clear that confusion also. Lipids, if you see, the molecular weight of lipids is 800 Daltons. Molecular weight of lipid is 800 Daltons. So according to molecular weight, if we see, then lipid is a microbiomolecule. Lipid is a microbiomolecule based on its molecular weight, because its molecular weight is 800 Daltons. But when we perform this experiment, or when we filter it, when doing this experiment, what happens is, these lipids actually they are present in the structures. They are present in the membrane of the cell. So these lipids, they form vesicles. It's a cup-like structure. They form vesicles during grinding of these living tissues, and these vesicles, they are insoluble in this acid. Vesicles of these lipids, they are insoluble in trichloroacetic acid, and that is why they do not get filtered and they remain in acid insoluble pool upside. And as they don't get filtered, they remain upside acid insoluble pool. We saw here acid insoluble pool we call macromolecules. So according to this grinding of molecules, if you see, lipid is macromolecule. But if you see, according to the molecular weight of lipid, its molecular weight is 800 Daltons, and according to the molecular weight, lipid is micromolecule. Now the general classification of molecules into micromolecules and macromolecules, it is done based on their molecular weight. So molecular weight is 800 Daltons for lipids. So definitely lipid is a micromolecule. So this is just an introduction of biomolecules. I hope you understand. Next video will discuss this all micromolecules, micro and macro both we have to study, carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids. This all we have to study in detail. So next video we will discuss about the monosaccharides or the carbohydrates. Okay, thank you.